welcome. How's that? Okay, there we go. Right, Grand Rising, Kingdom greetings, Great Awakening. Welcome, welcome, welcome once again to the transitioning table. It is so good to be able to come before you and to share with you that which is transpiring and happening. You know, the transitioning table is all about us transitioning from one thing to the other, whether it's from being married to being single, from having children to not having children, from transitioning from one country to a next country, from transitioning from out of religion into our spirituality, but it's all transitioning, and that's the transitioning table. Yeah, so today I welcome my beautiful sister here, Fatima.
Yeah, Fatima.
Fatima. Yes, one back to the transitioning table. You heard from her before, and her earlier video is there. And so she's back. And what are we talking about today? We're talking about the spiritual climate. We're talking about the igniting of the spirit of Ubuntu. Yes, and what is happening here on the continent, first and foremost, here in Kenya, to be specific, because that's where we're at, and then globally. So we thank you for joining us. We thank you for coming in and asking questions with us and going with us on this journey, on this ride, on this experience of transitioning. And there is a big transition. You can say here in Kenya, once again, welcome. Welcome to the transitioning table. It's good to have you.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here once again. Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm really grateful.
Yes, and so we're talking about the spirit, the spiritual climate that is transpiring, that is happening. First and foremost here in Kenya, but also globally. And so give us your a little bit of what you see or what you're feeling or sensing with the spiritual climate that is taking place.
Yeah, for me, what I can just say, considering what is happening, the protest and all that, me, I'm just feeling there's just this great awakening that is happening in Africa. There's this great awakening, and there's this Africa wants to reclaim her victory, wants to reclaim her greatness, and that is just what is happening. And now here in Kenya, we are experiencing these things of protest, which is led by the Gen Z and all that. So there's just a lot of energy,
Yeah.
which is like you are clearing the old energy, and the new energies are just coming in. And also that is why they're led even by the young people, because it is just about the new energy.
Yes.
And a lot of purging is happening.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There truly is a purging that is taking place, that is transpiring. It's happening collectively, but it's also happening on an individual basis also, because it's a person, the journey, though collective, it is still also personal.
Yeah.
And I believe that what this Gen Z, this younger generation, is doing and has done is flame the fire, because it isn't something that, as we were talking earlier, it isn't something that was overnight. It's something that has been going on over a period of time, but the Gen Z has come with this fire to just like we're not being passive about this no more. We're not procrastinating about this no more. We need to get this done.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, also what we have to realize is that when you see that physical action, that is the last stage of manifestation, because every other thing happens from the internal space. So there has been a lot of just deep introspection by so many people, and also that planning and thinking and also feeling we deserve much better. So now what we are seeing outside is just a manifestation of the collective intention that we've been setting for such a long time. So it does not just start with the Gen Z, but it ends with them, with that action and all that. So it is just beautiful to see what is happening, and also this new portal that is opening for Africa, because this is a portal that is opening for Africa, and we are seeing our greatness, and we are seeing how fearless we really are, and we are just acknowledging that we are just these wonderful supreme beings.
And I think the thing is even just in terms of it with Africa, as we now know and we've learned that life begun, the existence of all things begun here, and it spread out throughout the rest of the earth. So there had to have been a beginning, and so what I'm thinking what I'm thinking now is this what they tag as a revolution, could it be the beginning of a restoration?
Yeah, that is definitely what is happening, the restoration, because you see, for the longest time, we just had this African being like I can even call it like a disabled continent. You see, there are so many labels that we've been given: that world, this, that. When in real sense, that has to be like changed like this.
Turn upside
Yeah,
down, turn back,
has
turn
to
back
be
down.
turned upside down, because that is not really the truth. Because how can you be poverty stricken? How can you be this and that, and at the same time you're the one who is
Feeding
like, feeding
everybody,
the whole world?
feeding the
So
whole world.
that is a greatest fiction that
Yeah.
has ever been sold, and we have to clear that out. And I feel like we are just realizing that, we are waking up to that, and we are saying, no, we need to see much more, and what you are telling us is really not the truth.
Yeah.
And we are seeing something deeper, we are seeing something much more.
And so to think about it, right? Um, they label Africa, and that's the other aspect of it. They say think about it, but they label Africa third world. They label Africa poverty stricken. They label Africa as in terms of the dumps. But as we know, Africa is the breadwinner for the world.
For the whole
The
world.
world needs Africa more so than Africa needs the world. But because of the oppression that they've placed upon Africa, it kept it silent for so long. It's like Africa is literally the sleeping giant that is waking up.
That is just the truth. We have always been these sleeping giants, and you are these giants that you don't even know. You consider yourself as ants, and you are so scared of every other person. And it is you. It has always been you. So it is just so beautiful to see it happening right now. To see the Gen Zs showing us the way, even the millennial and all that. So, but what you have to realize, even the Gen Z, even the millennial, they are stepping over
Yeah.
on shoulders of
The ones that gone before. Like I was and even in this spiritual climate.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. You need some water or
Yeah,
something?
it's okay.
Okay. So even in this spiritual climate that is happening, we look at something I learned, and that's something that came to me as I was preparing for this conversation. You know, I go, so people say interview, no, we are having a conversation.
Yeah.
And something with this, what came to me with this conversation is when you're talking about stepping on shoulders, I look at the four generations, right? The baby boomers, and I'm tying them to the elements because that's how it was given to me. Each generation is tied to an element. So the baby boomers are tied to the air. The Gen X, which is my generation, is tied to water. The millennials, which is your generation, is tied to the earth. And this Gen X that is here now, that is doing this, that is standing on our shoulders, are the fire. And then we'll go to the alphas a little bit later, which is a combination of all of them. But now Gen X being the fire.
Gen Z.
You mean the Gen Z, not Gen X. Gen X is the water. Gen Z being the fire. And so that is sometimes what we say we need to get moving. So they say, put some fire underneath your step, or put some pepper in your step type of thing. And this is what they have now brought to the table. They've brought fire. They're seeing what the millennials are doing, just grounding out, just spacing out. I'm just here. You understand? I'm just working on me right now. They saw us as Gen X, you know, their parents or their grandparents. They see us as what you call it, water. We just fluid, we fit in, and we stabilize, because water also stabilizes. And then the baby boomers, who's gone on me before me, the grandparents and stuff like that, or the great grandparents to the Gen Zs, they see them as air. You understand? They just flow. They just the breeze just blowing. You know, they just say things, but there's no action to some of the things that they
Yeah,
even
I've heard of that. Even are they also called the silent? I think something I saw
the
something
silent
like
age
that.
or
Yeah,
something like the
silent
silent.
age. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. Yeah, when you look at all that, you can see how it is all connecting. Because what you have to, what we know right now is that you are not just living by yourself. You are not just a separate entity entirely. So the baby boomer is in you, the Gen X is in you, the millennial is in you when you are a Gen
Yes.
Z, and so
Yes.
that you are like having all of them combined into you, and it is just
It's
beautiful
real
to see.
fire.
Yeah, it is a real fire, but combined with all these other things. So it is not, for me, I don't look at it as just the fire, but looking at it as we have sophisticated the air, we have sophisticated the water, we have sophisticated the earth, and now the fire is here, and now
Everything
we're just
is
combining each and everything. So it is a beautiful exchange that we are really seeing. But I'm also acknowledging there is just a lot of children that have been born from the 80s up
yes.
to now who are like what are they called, the indigo children,
The
with a
indigo,
lot of,
indigo.
yeah, with a lot of those spiritual gifts, and also a lot of knowing.
Yeah.
That is something that we have really witnessed. And
Yeah.
so what we are seeing right now is not just people who are just spending a lot of time in social media, but they're just also these people that realize that they don't need to overwork even physically to get
Yes.
things that they really need, because I've seen people saying that they are lazy, they are this, they are that, but it is just them realizing and knowing that
There's more to life than this.
there is more
There's
to
more
life
to me than this.
than this.
Like I look at some of the inventions that the Gen Zs are inventing. So how some of the things that they're finding out. You can get electricity or power from coal, or you can get power from trees, certain trees. You can get power from water. I mean, and there are so much that they are now exposed to that they're wondering why is it we're working so hard instead of working smart.
Yeah, you have to work smart, and then also when you acknowledge and realize how powerful you are, you realize that you don't need to use a lot of power to get things. You just use a very little power to get most of the things, because we are so powerful.
Yes.
The only thing that maybe didn't happen the other times, even with our parents, they were just these sleeping giants, as you're
Yeah.
saying, and they don't know what they are. So these Gen Z, these millennials, they have been born with this knowing, so that this evolved generation, they have this evolved species within them. It is just beautiful to see how it is all coming up together, and how it is also placing Africa on the map where it is supposed to be, because
As the head,
as
and
the head.
as the head, once again, Africa is now merging back as the head, as the final frontier. Because a lot of my videos, I've been, since I've come into the awakening of myself and who I am and the power that I have within myself, you understand? And knowing Africa, and since I've relocated here, and like I told people, I came here originally on a spiritual journey because I learned that this is the promised land. This is the, like I said, the last frontier. I watched a movie called 2012, and this was the last frontier that all of the nations that was destroyed, everyone, the ones that was saved or who came into this ark of safety, they ended up here on the continent of Africa. And so I believe that this revolution, this awakening, this movement that has started now, what they say with Gen Z, because the Gen Z is just continuing. Let me put this like this, because they didn't start anything. They're continuing. Because even some of them are now liking them unto the Mau Mau's, freedom fighters and stuff like that. So they're liking them unto them, but they're taking it to the next level. They're taking it to the next level, and that's like you started off. The air, which the baby boomers was standing on the shoulders of the sleepers. Now the water, the Gen Z X are standing on the shoulders of the baby boomers. The millennials standing on the shoulders of Gen X. Gen Zs are now standing on the shoulders of the millennials. So we now have formed a totem pole. Oh my goodness. Hey, we have formed a totem pole of strength. And what the Gen Z is doing is the combination of what my parents, my grandparents, and my great grandparents didn't do
Yeah.
is in me, or what they started but couldn't finish because of procrastination or fear. That's another thing I hear. You heard about
Yeah,
the fear.
there have been just a lot of fear. But for me, I also blame the education system. That is something that I also blame, because even me going through school, and the main history that you learn about Africa is this story of abduction, these stories of slave trade, these stories of just how you are forced to do things, colonization, and this and that. So that is the story that you have about your ancestry. That is the story you have about your origins and all that. So it makes you feel very unsafe. And
Inferior.
you are feeling very unsafe, and there is that inferiority complex that you develop, because you are just feeling like anybody can capture you.
Yeah.
And now you are just living in
You're
that.
just trying to survive.
Yeah, you are just surviving. So I'm looking at these generations where people, and I can mostly say Africans, we have been tiptoeing like you. You don't want people to know that you exist.
Walking on eggshell.
Yeah, so you're just going that like you are tiptoeing because you don't want people to know even you exist. You are so scared. So there was that very real trauma that was within us, and also as millennial, that is the thing that I've seen. There have been a lot of healing, and also they also carried a lot of trauma. If you look at them, like myself and so many friends that I have, there have just been a lot of healing, and that just saying this ends with me, I don't want to. So there have been a lot of healing. There's generational healing. Also, there's the traumas of even our ancestors. Even you see those fear that were kept there because of slavery, that were kept there because of even the colonization and all that. So there is just a lot of healing, a lot of healing, a lot of healing. And when you do those kinds of healing, you start to see yourself for who you really are. Because when you are working under the things of trauma, you are only seeing the wounds, and you can't see beyond the wounds. So after now you've cleared the wounds, you realize, no, I'm not just my wounds. I'm
more than my wounds.
Yeah.
Wow, and that is so good, because there's a saying, know thyself. And until you know thyself, you don't know anything else other than what the colonizers told you. And that's why in terms of history, the conqueror, I think, can't remember what the African proverbs is in terms of the hunter could tell you the story because why the lion is dead. You understand? So they did a good job in silencing our people and putting fear inside of them and locking them away in terms of religion and divide and conquer with the tribalism and all the different stuff. But what I heard with this Gen Z, we are leaderless. We are tribeless.
Yeah, because we are all leaders. That is the thing that we are. We are all leaders. And if you even look at the history of Africans and how even they were coming about with this thing of leaders, and they were not like choosing somebody because that person knew so much, or because they had the interest of the people at heart. It is because they had the interest of people at heart. And those people that were being led were not led because they don't know anything, but just because they've chosen you to just be like this mouthpiece. But they also knew what was going on. So it is very crucial for even Africans, or even where we are, because what we are seeing, knowledge is power. But that knowledge is only power when it is implemented. So it is just beautiful.
So to have the knowledge is one thing, but how you apply that knowledge, what are you implementing? Because now the Gen Z are saying, hey, we don't even, yes, you withdraw these things and whatever have you, but we don't want it at all. We don't want you at all. We want our liberation. We want now to spirit of Ubuntu. I want you to I am because you are. So if you can eat, I want to be able to eat.
Yeah.
If you can put on clothes, I want to be able to put on clothes.
Yeah.
Don't just you clothe yourself and your family, and then me and my family cannot clothe ourselves, or we cannot have a meal to eat. And that has been the problem too long.
It has been the problem too long. And also, even for those people who do these things of loans and this and that, you realize that you must have security.
Security.
So here you are, you've been told ever since you are born, because me, ever since I was born, we are just in debt.
In debt.
We are just in debt, and it keeps on going up and up and up and up. So you are even looking, what criteria are they using to even give you this
The
loan?
future generation.
Yeah, to even give you these loans, because you are just forever in loans, forever, and it is continuing and continuing and continuing. And you start to even question, and they think that is what the Gen Zs are doing.
Yeah, they
You are
question
even
it.
question, why are you even giving us these loans?
You told us you got this loan for this. And now you're saying you're getting a loan for the same thing again that you said you got the loan for the last time.
Yeah. And also, what I'm seeing, the problem is not even raising the taxes.
No.
The problem is that you keep on raising the taxes, and you've not even given people the opportunity to get that much money so that it can be taxed. So each and every year you are just adding the taxes and taxes and taxes. But are you asking yourself of the opportunity that this person is getting to even continue now?
To have to pay the
to
taxes.
pay even, so it is not making sense. That is the truth. It is not making sense.
And so there again, in the spirit of it all, when you look at the way it is being done, I think is what triggered what triggered them, the way it is being done, because you're being flamboyant and you're flashing your fancy life in front of me, and then you're telling me I have to pay for what it is you're doing. I have to pay for it.
So there's just that, for me, I look at it is just that people are working up and they realize they need or they deserve much better. In the past, we didn't know that. In the past, like my father is just a fanatic of these things, of politics. He keeps on, is there. But you don't ask yourself, how much am I getting from supporting this? Because you find people even in the villages,
Yeah, the rural areas.
they're gathering around, they're just speaking about politics, but are not asking themselves, what am I getting out
From
of
this.
So
How does this benefit not myself, my children, my grandchildren, the next generation?
So these ones, they are not just discussing, they are asking, what is in this for me?
Yeah.
And that is beautiful, because when you start loving yourself, because there is just a lot of self-love that you see, it is just reflecting a lot of self-love. Okay, it is good that you have that, but even me, I want something better for myself, not just to be here and praise you and how you are living.
And that's another thing too, because I think the baby boomers, the Gen X, we lived it, and some of the millennials, we live in that fight and flight mode for so long,
Such a long time.
so long, and so now we're trying to come out of it and doing our shadow work and doing our healing. But this Gen Z, like, I am not even going to allow myself to even enter into it anymore. I want more. I want better. I deserve more. I deserve better. So the spirit of the Gen Z is this Ubuntu. I am because you are, and because I am, or because you are, I deserve exactly what I may not want the same house you have, but I deserve a house that I live in. I may not want to drive the same car you're driving, but I deserve a car. I may not have the same job you have, but I deserve. I may not have the same business you have, but I deserve. I am because you are. That spirit of commonwealth, everything common among us, and that is what's missing. There's that big divide between generations. There's a big gap.
There's just a very big gap between the rich and the poor. There's just, it is just always there. And it is getting bigger and bigger, and it is not making sense anymore. And it is just beautiful to see how all this thing is just unfolding, because at the end of it all, I'm just seeing us shifting from
Yes.
this paradigm of selfishness,
Yes.
shifting from the paradigm of just me, and me, and it is now we,
Us.
we,
Yes.
we can all,
Us. Collective now, making it collective. Come back to saying it's all about commonwealth, and all about everybody being able to be sustained at their level of sustainability. Because all of us are called to be to the top, but definitely the ones to the top, the middle, like a ladder. You need the bottom ladder to step on the top. You want to keep on moving, but don't do it in a derogatory way. You understand? This is my experience, or this is what I came into this earth realm to experience life at this level. But don't try to um, what you call me, my dignity. Don't try to destroy my dignity. You understand? My self pride about myself and stuff like that by causing me not to be able to eat, causing me not to having not to be able to feed my children and stuff like that. So I'm really really proud of the spirit that is of moving on this on the continent at this time.
Because you look at it from one angle and you see it is like us against them, but also when you go deeper, you look at it and you are like, okay, this is a collective agreement that we had, because now even you see in the past we were using this theory. Who is the guy of survival for the fittest? That is the theory that you have been operating from. So now we are now living that thing of survival for the fittest, and knowing all of us
deserve to survive.
In order for you to thrive, I also need to thrive. Yeah, I also need to thrive. So if you want to go very high, you have to be better, and I also have to be better. Yeah, so we are moving away from that paradigm of survival for the fittest. So it will show up in so many other ways also, because it is not just politics is just one of them, but there is just a lot of that we've been living in survival for the fittest. It is just you and me and that, and
you against me, you against me, or me against the world kind of mentality. When watch this, if we're trying to climb a wall, it's five of us trying to climb a wall, but none of us standing down can get over the wall. But when we now work together, I stand to the bottom, you stand on my shoulder, the next person stand on your shoulder, they get on top. When they get on top, then they pull the next person over. And then that person pulls the other person over. No man is left behind. No one is left at the bottom. No one is left without. And so that's the kind of spiritual climate that we need, whereas we honestly are our brothers and sisters, keepers, and looking out for each other.
I'm seeing something like that, and it is if now, because even where we are living, because the poverty was now, so some of us were born into those deep poverty.
Deep poverty.
I was born in those kinds of very deep poverty, and so when I speak, I see, and I know
you speak from a place where you have experienced yourself.
Something that I've really experienced, and I'm looking at it and seeing like the society is as strong as its weakest person. So even economic wise, even if you tell me, because that is what the language that we've been told most of the time, oh, the GDP has risen to I don't know what, this one. So but what is causing that
the GDP to rise?
Because you can be increasing the GDP. There was this video that I did, and I just say that you are increasing the GDP, you are increasing the billions, you are increasing this and that, but you end up with this country of 50 billionaires, and 50 million of them are just suffering, and you are there saying how you are increasing your GDP and all that. You should ask, how am I affecting that very bottom person?
That should show in the village. That person inside your rural area that you came out of.
How is it affecting them? And for me, from where I was born, because I happen also to be, most of my family, they are still there. They are still there on those slums and this and that. And what I'm seeing is just people who are struggling even more. So even when you are telling me the GDP, I don't understand what and how is it helping?
How is it helping anybody else?
So it should be that person who is down there, and the bottom, our bottom has dignity, you know.
Yes.
You raise that bottom to be in a place that somebody is living in some comfort, even if they are not ambitious.
Yeah,
But
but they
they
have
live,
some
they are living,
comfort.
yeah, with comfort and dignity.
And the other thing that I think has really sparked this climate change, this spiritual climate change, and is the flooding that we had. That flooding did something. I mean, many people lost their lives. Their little bit of property that they acquired, even they talk about the slum areas, and you look inside there in Nairobi and how much those homes were just washed away. Those little places that people were paying rent for, you understand, were washed away. And then on top of the flooding, you want to add taxes.
Yeah, yeah.
So this the spiritual climate change had to come.
Yeah, and it
It had
is
to come.
coming because also when we
The
understand the
continuation.
flooding, yeah, the flooding is also something, you know, these things,
Uh,
everything is connected. You
Yeah.
know, there is nothing that is happening in separation. So
No.
even the floodings that we are seeing, it is a purging that is happening.
Yeah.
We have had the solar flares.
Yes.
We have had that
The eclipse.
eclipse that took place. Even was it this year or late last year? We had that the yoga people were
Oh, with this.
celebrating the Kali Yuga, the end, the like a segment of Kali Yuga is ending. So
End of a
there's
thing,
just,
this beginning of a
yeah,
thing.
so there's just a lot of things that are just ending and others beginning, ending and others beginning. So it might seem like it is something happening right now, and it seems like it is very, very difficult.
The paradigm shift.
Yeah, but it is a paradigm shift.
Paradigm shift, because it's the end of an age and the beginning of another age. It's like, yes, it's like the end of one cycle of life. When you say, okay, this was the day I came into this earth realm. So people call it birthday, born day. This is the day I was born. So when that cycle comes back again, you're saying that's the end of one year and the beginning of another year. You understand? For you to now continue, you don't die when the year comes to an end. You continue into a new year, that you've never experienced before, and all that different stuff. And that's how it is now. When you talk about the spiritual aspect of this climate change and the end of an age, we could think about the end of one age for us because they give us age. So you end up 25 and now you're 26. You end up 30 and now you're 31 type of situation. And that is what is happening in terms of spirituality. And spiritual is like you're coming to an end of one way of seeing things, doing things into another way of doing it at another level or realm or dimension or whatever, however you want to use it, frequency or vibration. You know, everybody has a different way of expressing their spirituality or themselves in terms of this move that is happening. But it is not the end of the world. This world is without end. It will continue long after us. It was here before us, and it will continue long after us because it is us that keeps it vibrating. It is us that keep it cycling. It's I hear somebody saying it, and I think I repeated it several times myself. This earth is a university. We came here to learn, to have an experience, to express ourselves in the flesh form, because some of the things we would have not experienced in other dimensions.
Me, I call it not a school for learning. I call it a school of remembering.
Yeah.
Because all these things are just inside us. All this knowledge, we have them inside
Come back
us.
to
So
our
it is
cash
just, yeah,
records.
so it is just us coming back to remember, not learning, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think we are learning. I'm just thinking we are remembering, because it is just about activating. There is nothing that you are creating new.
Come back to what they say, there's nothing new under the sun. So when it comes back to, I say, we learn, you said learning, unlearning, and we relearning ourselves. So we unlearning what the oppressors taught us and relearning who we are.
Yeah, it's all
So,
a game.
yes.
It's all this wonderful game that we have decided to be part of, and Of course, there must be both sides.
Yeah.
Like, there is that you'll call the oppressor, there's that you'll call
The
the
yin and the
oppressed.
yang.
Yeah, but it is like, for me, I look at it from this point of, if the darkness did not exist, the light will not even know what it is.
It's a dance.
Yeah, so
It's a dance.
yeah.
It's like a tango or a waltz. It's a dance. It's a give and take, and it's not a solo dance, but it's a duet because you need both.
Yeah, you need both.
You need
so,
both.
Yeah, so the same way we can say Gandhi taught us this and that. Jesus taught us this and that. It's also the same way we can say even the who is it called? The Nazi. What was his name?
Oh, Hitler.
Hitler. Yeah, Hitler also taught us, because now Jesus or even they were teaching us what you can be on that higher side, and now this one is teaching us what you can be on the lower side. So they all have the importance of knowing, when I'm at this frequency, this is what I can produce. When I'm at this frequency, this is what I can produce. So we need each other. We also need those stories that sometimes we say they are very, I'm just, I don't like to say that somebody is very oppressing, which it is something that we have experienced. But I like to look at it from this point of, if I didn't allow them to do this and that, they will not have even the power to do that. That is how power
we give them, because we give them the power to do
Yeah.
certain things. It's like I saw a picture where it's of African leaders, and they have this table on their back, and they bow down, and the colonizers are sitting on it, and the depiction on it says, if they stand up, the game is over.
Yeah.
And so this is what's happening.
Yeah, that is what is happening. And also right now, because even you look at the Gen Zs in the streets and all that, and they're just going with the bottles, they're just going with the twigs, and they're very, very fearless. So that is something that was also there at those times. They don't have firearms, they don't have this, they don't have that, but they have their bravery,
their heart,
their courage and all that. So that was never lacking at any point. So you just look at it as this dance that has happened. And I also have to acknowledge that there has just been a lot of programs now telling you, like, a black, you are not worthy, you are this, you are that. So it is just time for us to remember who we are.
The deprogramming, the deprogram, unplug
that,
from the matrix. You understand? That's what he said, a lot. But I feel like with the Gen Z now, they're deprogramming, and they unplug themselves from this matrix of thinking that they're not good enough, they're not worthy enough, they are third world. When you look at the majority of the even the TikTok influencers, the influencers generally are the Gen Zs. They're getting out there, they're educating themselves. You understand? So I believe that in the spirit of things that are happening, it is taking the scale off of so many eyes, and is liberating so many to know that there's more to us than this. And you said something. You said in terms of the fear that they are fearless now. When I look at some of the TikToks and some of the videos with them with the tear gas, smoking the tear gas, who does that? You understand? Who stands in front of water cannons and allow it to blast them and still stand? Or roll. It's a level of fearlessness that these Gen Zs possess that nobody else has at this juncture.
Yeah,
Or
it
even
just goes to show that there's something that has been activated within this young generation. There's just something, because most of the time we've operated, and I like to say 20, but it is much, much lower of our gene. Most of it is called the junk DNA. So
Yeah.
there's just so much that was happening without those activations and
Mhm.
without those. And so you call them junk DNA, I call them God DNA, because they just have a lot of memory of who we really are. And when you go to do some research and history here and there, you realize that at this time, the period that we are living is when is the appointed time of those DNA start
So
to
activate.
So
Activate.
it is just showing you there is just this memory that we are tapping into, and it is just beautiful to see, because this is just the beginning. Just imagine
Yeah.
what is
This is
come.
just a genesis.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, you said they call it junk DNA, you call it God DNA. Um, and they tell us we only have, they tell us we have 12 strands of DNA, but only 9 strands of DNA is functioning. For us now coming into it, we're learning that these DNA that they call junk DNA is also known as the cache records. Hold all of the records of who we are, where we've been, what we've done, what we've accomplished, who our, you understand me, down to the beginning of time and the first creation of our kind. And so that there the spiritual implication of knowing that all that you are and all that you will be is already in you.
It's already new.
It's already in you.
Yeah, so it is just about remembering, activating, and it is just beautiful where we are right now. Very, very beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very encouraging. Very, there is just that spirit of hope, and just giving a lot of hope to so many who
Yes.
had like given up. It is just beautiful. It is just the perfect
It is
time.
perfect
That will
timing.
happen.
It truly, 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 truly is a very good time that we're in. I am just so grateful. You understand, to be in such an amazing time like this. You know, because when you think about the spirit of what is happening now, it's like they call it a revolution, but it's a restoration. It's restoring, it's reviving, it is showing how much resilience we have.
Yeah.
People looking for what you call it, reparation, but it's all about us remembering who we are and
Yeah.
operating and walking in that.
Yeah.
That is the key. That's the you can't go wrong without that. You can't go wrong without coming to the fullness of who you are, not only physically, but spiritually, going within. There again, looking at the man in the mirror. We're talking about knowing thyself and going within. So much times we were taught to look out there, look to Jesus, look to Muhammad, look to Buddha, look to Selassie, I look at to these different persons and places, you understand? But we was never taught to go within.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
Yeah, because looking to Jesus is not bad. Looking to Muhammad is not bad. Looking to all these people is not bad, as long as you look at them with these eyes of these are examples of what I can be. So now the problem has been you have been told you can't be this, you can't be that, you, but looking at them from this point of these are just examples of what is there for me, what can be there for me. So it is just changing the perspective from these are not just unique things or very rare things, but this is what exists within each and every human being
That
that we
exactly.
see walking on this earth.
And not only that, you say that's what I could to aspire to be, but when you really look at it, it is who you are, because we are all a part of the same.
Yeah, we're just
We're all a part of the same in separate forms and different forms, but still all a part of the same. So seeing Muhammad, seeing this, is saying, this is who I am. I can operate just like this person, because you know sometimes people say, what inspire you? Oh, what caused you to do this? When I saw this person could have done it, then I know I could do it.
Yeah, so I feel like there is where we are misdirected, being told that this is reserved for only this kind of person or this kind of person, but it is supposed to be this is if Jesus keeps on saying that all the time, whatever I can do,
You can do.
even better.
Yeah.
If only you believe. So there, he's giving you the answer. It is just about your faith. It is just about your belief.
Your belief system. And so this spiritual climate, this Gen Z, they gone beyond believing they could do it. They know they can get this done. You can't do it, mom. You stay here. I going out there, and I'm gonna be the change that you need. You keep on talking about it. I can be about it, and that's what's happening. And that's what needed to happen a long time. But everything is timing there again, or what we call timing, because there again we know time is a construct that they give us, and so finding ourselves in the midst of this let me say financial, the spiritual climate change, the spirituality, this thing that is this movement that is taking place, is the greatest thing that is happening.
It's the greatest
The
thing.
psychosis has been broken. And you know another thing, and I want you to because you're millennial, and when I look at Gen Z, a lot of the Gen Zs are not um, religious bound.
That is true.
They're not religious bound. They're not tied, hard bound, head bound. What you call this? Um, oh goodness, there's this word I was trying to do, but they're not deep in that psychosis. They're thinking there have to be more to this. Is the question we saying, a lot of them saying there have to be more to life than this. Why do I have to go into this four walls to worship this God who's supposed to be everywhere, all knowing and all this different stuff? So they've been questioning with the very core of spirituality. That's what this Gen Z has been doing. And they've been challenging it a long time. So you find a lot of them refuse to even enter into a church or a mosque or a synagogue or anything. A lot of them are just really going within.
Yeah, going within. And that is the only way for you to get the answers. That is just the only way. And sometimes we also say, you know, there are so many things that have happened. And even that is why I'm saying they're standing on top of
Shoulders.
of others, because that has been a question that so many have been asking, but they're so scared to look weird.
Yeah.
Because there's this optimized story of what we are
demonized.
of what we are supposed to be. So if you are seeing something different from that, you are the problem.
Yeah.
So there's just been a lot of people asking, but I think they were just very, very scared. Me being one.
Okay.
Yeah, because for me, I started asking at such a young age, because I also underwent a lot of trauma from a very, very young age. And when I was still young, because, you know, as Muslims, when you're born into a Muslim family, you start going to the madrasas, the religious school, very, very early. And my mom, she was very, very violent, very, very violent. I'm just this person who never saw that side. You see that side that people speak about the mother's love and this and that. I never saw that, and it used to bother me. I never knew what was wrong. So, you know, now going to the mosques and also going to the religious and learning about that. And I remember there was this time I was very, very committed to praying to God. I'm still so young, but I'm praying so much. Yeah, I was so committed, praying to God and asking Him to change my mom, because she was
violent,
just very, very violent, and just hitting, and she was very, very violent, and also she was alcoholic, and so there was just so many things that were happening. So I was asking and asking and asking, and now we reach this age of 11, and that is where she now abandons you. And when she was abandoning us, I was sick. I was very, very sick. We had just moved to a new town, And when we went to that new town, we had like spent there like 2 months, and
Okay.
then I started being sick. And I was so sick, they never knew what kind of sickness I had. So I went to I was admitted for like 2.5 months.
Wow.
So she came and now discharged me and said we are moving to a new place and this and that.
I need my child.
Yeah,
my
the
child.
weather here is not good. And then that is when she abandoned us, just getting me
Go
from
to
the
hospital
hospital,
and left.
taking me home. And then, now at that point, I was seriously asking God, this cannot be. It was so funny. No, this cannot be. I've been praying to you. I was so young. I was 11,
Yes.
and I was praying, and no, it cannot be. And so you are there. You don't have parents because now we were just left by ourselves, and I'm asking myself, it cannot be, and I'm crying, and I keep on feeling and hearing things, but I can't validate them.
Yeah.
I can't validate them.
No.
Why? Because
nobody else around you to
Yeah.
explain this to you or even seeing like how you're seeing.
yeah,
Yeah.
So there have been so many people I know who have experienced something extra, something beyond, but they were not
Liberated.
enough, to stand up. So looking at this is just a manifestation of so many people who have been silent for such a long time.
Because they come back to the spiritual oppression of people. If it ain't this way or this way, it's demonic. It's demonized. It's occultic. You know, a sister, CME to you, my beautiful sister. She's saying, you know, she was conversing nice to catch the conversation. Then she's talking about the power to be known, the next generation. The thing about it is this, and I had this conversation last night. With some millennials there again too. I had this conversation with some millennials last night. We talk about GMO and stuff like that. And when we think about GMO, genetically modified stuff, even some humans, or what we think is humans, are what we call GMO. GMO hasn't just started with the gates of hell and them. There were these people. GMO have been around for centuries. They genetically modify things according to the age that you're in. You know, we think we have indigenous stuff, but it's only indigenous to the time and the era that you're in. And that's it, you know. And so, in terms of the dumbing them down through, the sad part about it is this, right? They try to dumbing them down through technology and gadgets, but what they didn't do, it worked against them. Because now we use the technology and the gadgets to gain information. This is where the information age has expanded because of a lot of our information they hid from us. You understand? And a lot of our information was orally passed down. But thank goodness for technology that you can see us now and we can share what's happening on the ground here in Kenya or what's happening on the continent of Africa outside the lies that they would tell you on the mainstream media and stuff like that. You understand? So yes, technology and gadgets can work against you if you allow it, but but the most important thing is to make it work for you.
Yeah, because that is what I actually like to look at, because you see this even before the gadgets there was something else
Yes.
that people were using as
Yes.
so each and every time you'll always find something that is
They will
there.
put the point in the blame
so we
on
are
something
living,
else
so for
instead
me
of
I look at it from this point that we are living in this world of contrast.
Yes.
And so it is just about you gaining that self-mastery. So it is about giving people the right knowledge, the right
Yes.
information,
Yes.
and letting them to do what they
Yes.
want to do
With
the
information.
right knowledge. So
That's
it is
it.
not about remove these gadgets, remove this. No, give them the right knowledge, and now they will be able to
do
because
it.
at the end of the day, it is all about you.
Yes.
You are
gotta
the
make
one.
an choice.
What they were asking us. You think the world is revolving around you. That
Yes,
is
it
literally
is.
true. It
It
is
is.
revolving around you. So when you know it is revolving around you and you are making things happen, it doesn't matter what it is that has been put
Yep.
in front of
As a
you.
distraction.
It is about you knowing what to do with
Know
that
thyself.
distraction. Yeah,
Know
without distraction.
thyself.
Yeah.
Know thyself. How to use what they intended for evil, what they call evil, for good.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's where we're at, because I know many persons who said, oh, they don't use social media no more. They don't do Facebook. They don't do Twitter. They don't do the Instagram. I said, I still just use all of them.
Yeah, that is something else that I've seen so
Yes,
many
you
times.
know.
Like somebody says, I'm like pure, I'm very spiritual. I can't do this, I can't do that. But for me, I'm looking at it from this point of, if I'm gaining all this light, I'm gaining this light so that I can share
Share
with
it.
the world. So if
Let
I'm
your
gaining
light
all
so
this
shine.
so if I'm gaining this light only to hide myself inside and I don't want to be here, you are there to spread your light.
Yes.
And you have to be comfortable, and you have to also be like very safe within yourself so that you can feel safe even when you're somewhere.
And you know something too? Why is you talking about that? Why a lot of people shut themselves away from social media and all these different things? Because they're not healed.
Yeah.
And if you're not healed, things that you come across on social media and stuff like that will trigger you because you've not dealt with that trauma. And so, okay, yeah, stay away for a while, but don't demonize it because you staying away from it. It is
Yeah.
all choice.
And also realizing that the law of resonance
Yeah.
is always working. So you are always going to get that thing
Yeah.
that resonates with you. It doesn't matter whether you are in media or
not.
outside. So even when you're outside there and you're not even in media and all that, you are still going to get those who are going to resonate with that frequency. So it is
Yes.
not about the media.
It's the
And yeah,
frequency.
it is about the frequency that you choose to operate.
Yeah. And you can either operate from a high level or from a low level. And so I believe, family, that the movement, the spiritual movement that is on the ground here in Kenya has reignited. I won't say ignited. It has reignited Ubuntu, the spirit of Ubuntu. So now you will see or you'll hear things in Malawi, in Ghana, Uganda with the Gen Z.
Yeah, but
because
it has-
you've already
yeah,
had
it has
because
been
already
happening.
started because you see all the what they considered coups and stuff like that was not so much coups. It was people tired of the spirit of what was going on. So it was they rised up against that. You say you don't call it like oppressive spirit, but that's just what it is. That you will not be able to help others or help yourself. So you look at Burkina Faso, you look at all these other places, Chad and all these different places. They were tired, and their spirit rise up inside of them. Hey, we want change, and that is what's happening now. The spirit of Ubuntu is all about change. I am because you are. The climate, the spiritual climate change is all about
The
change.
change of the new energy.
The new energy
And it has
coming
already
in.
started, now looking at what is happening
Yes.
in Burkina Faso. It is just wonderful because somebody is already showing you an example
Yes.
of what a good leader means.
Yes.
We already have it. So it is this
As
portal
young
that's
as
opening
a
and
millennial.
opening. Yeah, he's a millennial.
He's a
and
millennial.
He just has his country at heart. He
Yes.
has this Africa in his heart, and
Yes.
he's working from that point. So it is beautiful to already see that somebody is already implementing this dream that we have, and it is easy.
And another millennial is connected with him.
Yeah.
And then a Gen X has connected with him. So you can imagine. This Africa has come alive. The sleeping giant is awake.
She is reclaiming her greatness. And it is just
She's
beautiful.
dusting off her crown, and her crown is about to shine once again. Her throne is being cleaned down to rule and to reign. So I would encourage you, family, to not allow the fear mongering information that is going on out there about the continent. For those of you who still are considering transitioning here, don't let that fear stop you. This is the best time ever to be a part of Ubuntu on the continent. not from a distance, not watching it on just on YouTube, but literally being in the spirit of it, finding yourself, finding your place, finding your niche. You understand me? Moving in the fullness of who you are. And that's the spirit that is the energy, the vibration, the frequency that is here. And let me tell you something. It may start here in Africa, but it's not going to just end here. It's going to blanket. It's going to be a blanket. It's going to cover the whole world. People are going to realize that these boundaries and borders and limitation that has been put on us is unnecessary.
Yeah, it is just an illusion that
An
you can look
illusion.
through,
Yeah.
and you get on the other side, and it is just beautiful because Africa has always been the big thing,
Yeah.
but it was always the big thing that was a secret.
The big-
Now that
yeah,
is
the-
coming, yeah.
The well kept secret.
Yeah.
The well kept secret.
Yeah, so
Before we close out from here, I want to just say something about the alphas now because you have alphas.
yeah,
I have some alpha grandbabies. You understand? And I believe that the alphas are a combination or the combining of all elements. They're not just the air or water or earth or fire. You know, they are everything wrapped up in one that we now have the opportunity to truly cultivate the spirit of Ubuntu in them,
yeah.
that they would take it even to the next level
Yeah.
of the restoration
Yeah, and just not cultivating in them, but also learning from them.
and learning from them.
Yeah, because we have to realize they are teaching us. They are teaching us because these are thinking from the heart. They are using their heart. So it is, you know,
And they're questioning.
Yeah, and they're questioning so many things, and they're coming. You know, like my daughter, she's now almost 3 years. She's going to celebrate this year. Yeah, it is. I know this year, this month. At that
July?
birthday, yeah, at that birthday. And sometimes she does things, and you're like, okay, this is new. This is definitely new. I've never heard about this. So I'm very passionate about parenting. I think
Yes.
we'll have another episode on that. But just knowing, even us as parents, that as much as we are here to guide them, we are not
We're here
just
to-
teaching them.
They're teaching us.
They are also teaching us. They are also teaching us. So that is something that we should never forget, and that is also something that we should be there to like make sure we nurture. Because
Yes.
there's just a lot of wisdom from kids. Me, I just believe there's just a lot of freedom from kids, and there's a lot of knowledge. They just teach you so many things, so many things. Like sometimes I think about what I knew when I was even 7 years old.
So what they know now.
Yeah, so
is
you they have so much to give. So this style of parenting that we've always been in, of it is just them adapting to us, should also change to also us looking at them as
And learning from
our
this.
potential
Yeah.
partners.
Not only that, because I was telling one of my friends, I said to her, you have to understand, you are not raising your daughter. That's not your daughter. That's somebody's wife. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's husband. That's somebody's father you are raising and nurturing. Stop just seeing them as my child. You're just a portal in which they entered into this world to become or to come into the fullness of who they are, because they already became. Once they entered this world, they came into this world with everything in them that they need for when they become an adult. So you now have the stewardship, the capability, and ability to help nurture, learn, teach somebody's husband, somebody's wife, somebody's mother, somebody's father, or to trigger them to remember who they are, trigger them to remember what they came into this world to do. Because sometimes at birth, they say, is where we forget what we came here to do, and then over the period of time, we start to remember, tap into that Akashe records and stuff like that. The other thing we didn't mention, and I'm going to touch it, is the compassion that the Gen Z's operated in. And that's something that we need to pay attention to. The compassion. Don't just have this passion to build, and no compassion for why is it being built, why they're doing what they did. Because something that the Gen Zs did
Yeah.
with the disabled
I
MP.
remember that. Yeah, I remember that video when they were entering the parliament and all that, and everybody was
energy high.
was running. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody was running, and then there was this guy. In fact, I think he was saying that there were two of them or something. They were all disabled.
Yeah, two
so all the rest have run away, and then they have remained, and they had voted yes and all that. And these kids, the Gen Z, they knew, but they said,
We know you.
Yeah, we know you, and we are just good people. We don't want to
We
do
come for
anything.
peace.
Yeah, so they took him to safety, and they continued with their thing. And that thing,
Yes,
it
the
really
compassion.
touched,
Yeah,
it really
the
touched my
compassion.
heart, because I'm like, okay, this.
They stopped doing what they
yeah,
was doing
Yeah.
to help somebody, and then go back to where they.
Yeah, and your partners there, they
Left
have
you.
run away. They have run away. So you are even looking at the difference between the generations. And
Yep.
you are looking, these are operating from the point of I, and they're running away, and they don't want to know what is happening on this side. But these Gen Zs are operating from the point of we. So they not only have the brains, but they also have the open hearts, which is something that the world really, really needs. Because for the longest time, we've been told the greatest tool that you have as a human being is the brain. And look at where the brain has gotten us right now. It is just a lot of suffering, survival for the fittest. I don't know this, I don't know that. So it is when we are able to get into that heart space, because the brain is wonderful. It is very, very wonderful. But I call it is this polarity organ that is operating from this point. This is good, this is bad, these are that. So it is I versus we. But you go in the heart, and the heart is this quantum organ that is taking you directly to the unified field, and you are looking at each other from this point. We. So it is a genius. Yeah, it is a genius. For the longest time we've been told this, but right now there's even science that is showing that the heart is the heart. It is like
the heart is the real brain.
Yeah, it is 100 times more powerful electrically than the brain. It is 5,000 times more powerful than the brain magnetically. It has its own neurons, very independent.
Its own system altogether. Separated from the brain.
From the brain. So it is very wonderful to see a human being who is operating from the point of connecting the heart and the brain, because that is now the superhuman. And that is the God person that you are waiting, and that is the God person that is unfolding the things that we are seeing right now. So it is just beautiful.
Yes, it is. It truly is, family. I'm really, really, really grateful for the time that we're in, and what is happening. And so the continent is alive. The revolution, revival, the restoration has begun. I mean, when I say begun, but it continues, because we don't say begun because it never ended. There was a hijacking of it for a time. There was a silencing of it for a time, but now it's reignited, and there's no stopping it. There is no stopping this move. Not whatsoever. You can't stop. They cannot stop it. You can't silence it. You can't put water on it to out it. It is continuous now. It's an uphill from here. We've been to the bottom. They've silenced for a long time, but now we're moving forward. And so I'm eternally grateful. Let us unite. CME family, once again, greeting to all of you that are watching. I am thankful for each of you. I'm thankful for my sister here, Fatima, to Kim, and we shared in terms of the spiritual climate that is going on is the reigniting. I put igniting, but it's the reigniting of the spirit of Ubuntu. That's what's happening. So what you see happening on the continent, don't get scared. Rejoice, celebrate. know that the change that we've all been waiting for has now unveiled itself.
Yeah.
The thing is what part are you going to play inside of it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And that's how we are moving forward, is knowing the part that we have to play. Personalized, because I think I did a video in terms of, yes, we collectively started waking up to who we are, but now in a collectiveness, you now gotta individualize to yourself. You gotta know thyself. You cannot allow somebody just to forge your story, tell your story for you. You now gotta tell your own story. You know, like I have I have two books that I'm working on. One is called "Don't Marry Your Assignment," but the next one that I'm working on real diligently is "The Journey of a Kept Woman." That there is all about the journey that I've been on and how I've been kept every um, aspect of the way, every juncture of this journey I've been kept. And so, you know, and that's what it's all about. Know thyself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any last words you want to share with the people before we?
Okay, I don't have much to say. I can just say this: the future is now. And if you want to see that person that is going to take you to that dream future that you are dreaming about, go on a mirror, look at that person that you're seeing there is the person that is going to take you there. So have belief in whatever it is that you can do. You just can do anything that you put your brains into, that you put your hearts into. So you are the change that you have been waiting for, and the time is now.
Wow.
Yeah.
You heard it. The change that you want to see, or you've been waiting for, the Messiah you've been waiting for, is you. Go and take a look in the mirror and speak to yourself. I told you this before. Go and speak to yourself and tell yourself the things that you want to see you accomplish, the changes you want to see happen in your life and in your lifetime, in your children, in your community, in your village. Every change you want to see is not somebody else coming to do it for you. It is you. I love you, family. Take care of yourself. Until next time, live life on purpose, by purpose, for purpose, with purpose. I love you, and there's nothing you could do about it. Take care of yourself until next time.